Have you ever seen the, or maybe the YouTube video of it, or heard the actual podcast of it when Jim Cornette was talking about interstate travel and how important it is to use your time wisely?
Yeah, the one where I listened to this week's episode where he was talking about shitting at Wendy's.
Well, yeah, he said, well, when now this was several years ago. He said, when you're like on an 8-hour trip, you have 3 essential stops you have to make: eat, piss, gas. So on the normal 8-hour trip, you're going to make 1 eat stop, 3 piss stops, and 2 gas stops. He said it's really important to try to combine those stops as much as possible, and you have to know which exits to take. He said because that can really hurt your average. He said you need to go to the exits that aren't as congested. He said, like, I know that I can go to get off at exit 12 off I-64 in whatever fucking town, Kentucky. He said, right. I can go to that Wendy's and it will save me 12 minutes versus going to the Wendy's down at the Bowling Green exit because of the damn congestion. He said, so you got to know your easy ons and easy offs and have them written down in a little notebook.
What up, Brock? What up, Black Sheep? Welcome to the show. We're you know what? His podcast that's one of the few podcasts that I listen to every week, regardless.
Oh, I do too. I went back and listened to all the old ones.
Did you listen to the ones that he did with the chick? Like before Brian last? There's some of those out there.
I don't know.
I can't remember her name, but man, you could just tell that Cornette was like, there were some of them where he was in sync with her, but there were others where she was trying to like lead him into questions or whatever. And Cornette's like, nah, I ain't buying any of this shit, man.
He's got an action figure doll that he's selling tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. He has 400 of them. And you can start ordering at 9 a.m. I'm going to get on there at 9 a.m. and just see how much they want for this. I might try to buy one, but I figure it'll go within a few minutes.
$29.99.
What's that?
I think they're $30.
Oh, that's not bad.
No. I mean, that's what they were last time I looked at them.
There's only 400 of them, so
he may get going. There will be about that because of the he may charge a little bit more because this is, you heard that's supposed to be the Christmas one anyway.
Yeah. Did you know on his website he sells copies for $10 of the, I guess it's like a restraining order that Vince Russo had taken out against him in the state of Indiana. He has a restraining order against him, right? Okay, well he's made copies of this restraining order and he sells them for $10 on his fucking website.
But yeah, and he donates like a piece of it to charity. The guy's fucking brilliant.
It's crazy.
It's funny though because I venture to say, of course, we're talking about the Jim Cornette podcast. You should try to check that out if you can. It's a pretty cool show. As Delta 900 is talking about there. Comrade is needing a minute, so why don't I play a bit of Jim Cornette for a second for some of our listeners here, Kale? See if I can pull some of it up here.
Go ahead.
My favorite Jim Cornette was, let's see here, Jim Cornette.
I like to hear him talk about Donald Trump when he calls him the pig-faced, vagina lips, sphincter nose.
I like that one, but we might lose some listeners on that. Hold on. This is from this is from the Jim Cornette experience at Dairy Queen.
Didn't know whether to fix it or not. We wouldn't have ordered it if we didn't want it fixed.
He's coming. The comrade's coming.
Fucking idiot. This is a fucking comedy show. Does this look like a fucking comedy bus to you? You know what?
Fucking Jericho.
Hey, you want me to goddamn come from that fucking window and cut you?
Fucking
I I can see myself doing that.
Hey, we ordered the damn shit. But we're hungry, not because we wanted to fuck around. Don't cuff me, you fucking ugly bitch.
What is that?
That's Jim Cornette at a Dairy Queen drive-thru. Comrade, welcome in. Appreciate you joining.
What's up?
All right, so Black Sheep wants to know what would it take for South Carolina to get ranked? New coach, better players.
No.
I
I think they go 4-0 to be ranked. And 4-0 is a possibility to start things off.
Have you been drinking Kale's beer?
I mean, you don't think we can go 4-0 since the season's off? You think that's like crazy?
They should go 4-0.
I mean, I'm not predicting we're going to. I'm just saying it shouldn't be like
He's going to hand you your dick, but
That's four winnable games.
I think they need to go 4-0. I mean, otherwise it's going to be a shit show. But if they go 4-0, I think they'll be ranked. I mean, like 25 right there. I'm not saying, top 10 or anything like that, but they'll be like 25, 24, and then we'll probably right to be Adley. I don't know. But I think they go 4-0. They'll be ranked.
All right. Well, let's
now, is the question, what will it take for them to be ranked at the end of the season? When the season's over, to have a team that's ranked? That's a different question. I don't know.
They should go into that. They should go into that Texas A&M game 5-1.
Yeah.
I mean, they got winnable games there. The back end of that schedule is really
impossible.
tough.
Yeah. That's the problem. So if they start out 2-2, or even 3-1, I mean, then you can start the well, I'm not sure he's gonna get fired, but you can start the whole gloom and doom that we're screwed. But 4-0, you have a little hope.
I think 2-2, you're screwed.
Yeah, 2-2 are definitely screwed. I think 3-1 we're kind of screwed. Yeah, I think 3-1. Is not good either. So I think 4-0 is a must.
I think that East Carolina is a team that a lot of people are really looking past. I watched a replay because there's nothing but damn replays on. Actually, I watched this on YouTube the other night. The highlights of their game last year against SMU. SMU was really good last year, and East Carolina they went on the road and they got a quarterback who's back this year, a left-handed kid, that Holton Ahlers, I think is his name, and he had this little guy playing wide receiver, a little short dude, fast as hell. Remind me of that kid that plays for Auburn. What's his name? Schwartz or something? Is that one of the fastest players in the SEC? It reminded me of that. And this kid caught like 3 touchdown passes. Now, granted, SMU's defense is utter shit, but still, there's skill there. And I looked in the magazines, and wouldn't you damn know, this wide receiver, of course, he's back. He's only a sophomore, so that could give us some problems.
Before we start recording the actual podcast portion of the show, I'm going to say something nice about South Carolina. Yeah, Comrade looks like he's going to have a fucking coronary. I've done my homework, and I think that the Gamecocks are going to start the season 3-1. There you go. 4-0 is a pipe dream, but 3-1 I think is going to happen.
A pipe dream. Give me a break.
Kentucky is going to throat fuck you. But
it's not a pipe dream.
They don't have any skills talent.
Listen, I'm not guaranteeing.
That quarterback.
I am not guaranteeing a 4-0 start. But to say it's a pipe dream, first of all, I'm pretty sure we'll be favored in all 4 games. Is that fair to say?
You're not favored in the Kentucky game. You're on the road, Mike. You're on the road. Look it up, brother.
Okay. Let's put it this way. Okay, what do you think? Okay, how big of a favorite will Kentucky be in the game?
Probably 6 points.
Oh shit.
Well, it depends on how we do against Missouri.
I mean, it depends. Yeah, I mean, listen.
It's better. You asked me. I'm being honest.
Okay.
6 points.
Okay. Let's say it's 6 points. I don't think it'll be 6 points. Let's say it's 6 points. So you're telling me that to win a game as a 6-point dog, to be 4-0, okay, is a pipe dream. Is a little strong. I mean, a pipe dream to me is we're going to take out Georgia and LSU this year, both of them. That's a pipe dream.
All right.
Okay.
Well, look at this. Kentucky brings back. They have the number 2 ranked offensive line in the SEC according to Athlon. They return all their starters, and they're really good up front. But I mean, is that really doing you a lot of good when they're blocking for a dog shit quarterback who was hurt all last year and he was dog shit in 2018? We played shitty wide receivers and a decent running back. I mean,
okay. Let me
it's kind of a waste. It's a waste of a good offensive line.
Quarterback like
Zach Thomas.
Zach Thomas.
What?
Okay. Do you think Zach Thomas was the quarterback for App State?
Yes.
Is that what you're telling me? Okay.
He is, and he's
I'm
talking
saying,
about
most people don't remember who the fuck he is. I don't trust anything when it comes to South Carolina because your coaching staff is piss poor. But we have a big thing to get into this evening. Let's go ahead and we'll start.
We'll agree on that.
Yeah. Welcome into the latest edition of the Rob, Comrade, and Kale Show. I'm Rob Sanders, your host, representing the Clemson Tigers on this podcast. Winners of 2 of the last 3 national championships in football. A couple of co-hosts. We have the most hated man on Facebook. He is the Comrade, Mike Dobreski. Mike, good evening, sir.
It is good to be here. It is great to be a Gamecock, a school that I forgot what I was going to say now. But, a school that prides itself on doing the right thing. And, of course, the home of Will Muschamp, the guy who will turn things around this year and save his career. And one day, myself and Cale Hall will be driving to a Gamecock football game, and be pulling up on Boone Boulevard. Boone Boulevard will be named.
Out of here. Yeah. All right. With that, we also have Cale Hall from the Upstate. Cale, what's up, brother?
What's up? Great to be here. My favorite night of the week, Sunday night, where I get to come hang out with you guys for about an hour or sometimes a little bit more or thereabouts. If you haven't already, make sure you go over to YouTube and subscribe to the Carolina Jackpot channel. View the videos I've done. There's tons of them, literally tons of them, over 2,000 videos. And last one we did Friday night, the Clemson 2020 schedule rundown and predictions. Really good video. It was tremendous. Right now we have 1,000 views on the video and like 82 or 83 thumbs up, no thumbs downs, which is great. Really helps
Let me
drive
thumbs
the,
down right now. I want to be number one.
Don't damn do it.
Bastard.
So that's great. Just looking to generate some more traffic back over to the channel. Content's been kind of hard to come by this year. You want to know, last year I did about 15 or 20 college football previews for a bunch of different teams because I was on an extended vacation last summer for about 3 months. And I had plenty of times. And would you know which one got the most views? You'd never guess.
It was probably one of the ones you did on. Was it Boise State?
It was Nebraska. Like 12,000 views from these people. Yeah.
Shit.
And they were pretty complimentary. Pretty
you should
fan base.
You should change your name to Husker Kale, and then just start making Nebraska videos.
or Carolina Husk Pot or something like that.
Carolina. Well, I tell you what. By the way, when Cale does his football videos, for those that listen to the actual podcast, I've been taking those videos and posting them on the podcast, so they come right up on your feed. So if you're driving around somewhere and you can't watch the YouTube video, but you still want some of that Carolina jackpot goodness, you can listen to that. And it was actually kind of cool because I had to go and drive out and do a wedding yesterday because I have my own little DJ business. And I was able to listen to Jackpot's video on my drive out. So you can do that without having to have
great.
So
That's
yeah,
tremendous.
some of Jackpot's stuff there. Jackpot sounds better when we're not with him.
I certainly do
Jackpot down.
appreciate that.
All right. Anyway, shout out to our sponsors. The first, we'll do DNC Trucking and Transport spot first from Dennis Wilson. Of course, DNC Trucking and Transport, one of our show sponsors, been here with us for a long time. He's in the chat room tonight. He says you should be corn cob kale. That would work.
There you go.
Corn cob kale.
That works.
But he also does the truth serum with the Comrade, the No Spin Zone segment. Comrade, read away.
It sucks to be a Gamecock. I wish I had a man with a character that Dabo Sweeney has to run my football program. Congrats to Will Muschamp for moving up to 63 in the latest recruiting rankings. Look out, UTSA. We may pass you next. I am the reason Cale Hall pisses in his sink. It is utterly shameful to be a Gamecock. Go Tigers.
That message courtesy of Dennis Wilson, DNC Trucking and Transport. Also, we have Callaway's Bar and Grill out in West Columbia. Highway 1 diagonal from the Walmart. The best beer and wings in Columbia. We had one of our listeners, Joseph, right, comrade? Joseph, our friend that
Pocahontas.
Oh God, you don't have to call him that. Joseph,
he gave me the nickname Comrade. He probably should get some kind of royalty on this show. Well, I'm not saying we should.
Well,
but
I got to meet Joseph on night.
Oh God, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he came out and played trivia with his wife.
I thought you were talking
Very
about my
delightful
son,
gentleman. Very delightful gentleman. He came out and played trivia. So shout out to him for doing that. But Callaway's Bar and Grill, Callaway'sBarandGrill.com. Go and check them out. So we're going to do something unique tonight, something we've never done before. We're going to pick, this is unique. I thought about this earlier today, and I was like, this might be interesting. So what we're going to do is we're going to rank the SEC and ACC teams 1 through 28. Okay? Simple as that. But we're going to do it in a draft-type style. And the way it's going to work is that Cale is going to have pick 1, Comrade's got pick 2, and I've got pick 3, and we just keep going. So once you pick your team, whatever you like, Comrade, like Cale will pick team number 28, which is the worst team in the ACC or the SEC, okay?
Don't take Clemson, Cale.
Calm down. And I did talk to the Comrade earlier today. We're going to try to take this seriously because...
Why you got to talk to me about it? You act like I'm special ed.
Because you're a dick. That's why. Because you're a dick. Jesse loves Callaway.
I had to talk to Comrade.
I had to talk to Comrade. I don't have to worry about Cale. Cale takes shit seriously.
I had to talk to Comrade. Because he always tries to piss people off.
You're a child. Because you're a large child.
Damn child.
Idiot. But anyway, so that's the way it's going to work. So once you pick the team, they're off the board. And then we'll move up until we get to the number 1 team, and we'll see how it matches up. And then we're going to keep track of this. And Mike, I thought that during the season, maybe between the 2 of us, and maybe the 3 of us, I don't know, we can update it and call it the Rob, Comrade, and Cale poll, just where every team is. We'll see how that works. But this is kind of our base ranking. So Cale, since you are the newest member to the show, you get to pick the worst team in both conferences. With pick number 28, Cale Hall is on the clock. Cale, pick away, sir.
Pick number 28 from the ACC Atlantic Division. I'm taking Boston College.
Boston College, solid pick from Cale. They are eliminated. They are team number 28. Comrade, now, by the way, this is what we think the programs are going to be this season. So Cale thinks Boston College is going to be the worst team in both conferences. Comrade, you have picked 27. Who would you like to take with pick 27?
I'm kind of surprised that Cale took Boston College, and so I have to change my pick here because I thought he'd pick this team. I'm going with, unfortunately, an SEC team, SEC East team. Lionel Richie's favorite team, the Vanderbilt Commodores.
Very solid pick there from the comrade. Moving along for me, I've got pick number 26. With pick number 26, I am taking NC State with pick number 26. I think they're going to be a gong show this year. So that puts us up to pick number 25. Kale, who have you got with number 25?
With pick number 25 from the SEC West, I'm taking the Arkansas Razorbacks.
A very solid pick from Kale. I don't really have a problem with that pick. Where this is going to get interesting is when we get into the top 15 and we start arguing over bullshit. Pick number 24 goes to the comrade. Comrade, who you got?
I apologize in advance to my family in the motherland of upstate New York, a.k.a. Russia. I got to go to Syracuse Orange. That's my next pick.
You think they're going to be that shitty? I don't think they're going to be that bad, Mike.
I think they're going to be bad. Listen, I called last year. Everybody was on their ass about they're going to be great. We warned people. We warned people.
Well, they got DeVito back, but now you lose that weapon in O'Neal running back too.
That's a good point.
So there you go.
All right.
I just don't.
So that's an interesting. Not necessarily I
just don't think they're very good. I think they could be the worst in the ACC, actually.
You're probably
the only thing that benefits them as far as overall record, their non-conference schedule is bullshit.
I mean, if I was doing this by myself, okay, I'd have the only team worse than them is Vanderbilt in this thing. I'd have them at 27, personally.
Question two, Rob. Are we going here off of overall record, or are we going off of power ranking? How good is it?
Well,
either way, yeah.
Well, either way you want to do it, but I think that the best way to do it is where you would, if you were putting these teams in order, where they would go. Okay,
like Cal, I think the best way of doing this is if they play each other at a neutral site. All neutral site games, line them up that way. So, like personally, I would think that Syracuse would only beat Vanderbilt. My thing.
Number 23 for me for this upcoming season. And when I look at this, I had to think about this now for just a second. But I think I'm going to go with Georgia Tech. I still think they're going to be rebuilding, so I'll take Georgia Tech at 23. So that sends it back to Kale. Kale, okay. You have the next pick
with number 22. With number 22, I'm taking Duke. I actually would have put Duke. I think Duke will end up with a better record than Georgia Tech, but I think Georgia Tech will be a better team than Duke. Georgia Tech's non-con.
Would you take Duke to beat them straight up on a neutral field?
What's that?
Would you take Duke over Georgia Tech if they played each other? Because they will. Would you think Duke could win that game?
No, I think Georgia Tech wins that game.
Well, that's fair.
But I would have flip-flopped that. The non-con schedule for Georgia Tech is brutal. Duke's is not. So.
All right. Well, that moves us to pick 21. Comrade's up at pick 21. Comrade, who you got?
I'm going with Mississippi State. 21. Oh, I think they're a shit show.
They're not going to be a shit show, but that's fine. All right, so that gets rid of Mississippi State. I have got pick number 20. With pick number 20, I am going to take Mizzou. Give me Mizzou at 20. Shout out to our friends from the Mazodcast who listen to the show, by the way. Appreciate them. But I like them at 20. Kale, you're up next with number 19. It's making Kale's face red. He's like, damn it, this is hard. Because it is hard. There's an easy one out there, Kale. It's getting tough.
I hate to do it at number 19. I'll put the Gamecocks.
Oh, man.
South Carolina at number 19. would not have gone with South Carolina there.
Yeah.
It is solid because Will Muschamp is a shit show. Let the record reflect that Rob did not put the Gamecocks there. Cale did. So let's make sure we have. At number 18, the Comrade is up. Comrade, who do you got?
I'm going with the Virginia Cavaliers.
Fucking really?
Yep.
Huh.
I don't think they're good this year. Lost a lot of guys. Lost their quarterback. I think we're kind of a little backtrack this year.
Yeah, Bronco Mendenhall can still coach.
Yeah, but I think he's having a tough time this year.
He's well. You said the same shit about him when he played your Gamecocks. So
well, we didn't show up. Okay, screw it. I'm not telling you anymore. I refuse to tell you anymore. I'm not telling you anymore. Doesn't happen.
Fuck out of here with all that nonsense. Who you should have picked, Comrade, at number 18, but they will be at number 17 is Ole Piss. Ole Piss is going to be a team that's going to have some issues this year. I think they may be better than South Carolina, but
I thought you loved Link. I thought you liked the whole coaching hire, though.
I love Lane Kiffin. He's a better coach.
I thought you loved Lane. I thought you did great.
That's what makes this hard, stupid.
I'm just bringing it up.
Number 17. It's not your turn to pick. Shut up. You're not on the clock. Kale's on the clock.
Okay, good.
Shut up. Ole Piss is at 17. You got a 16.
Number 16, I'm going Florida State. I just don't. Until the offensive line can block somebody, they're not going to win anything over there. Plus, they lost some talent. What talent they had, running back position's gone. I don't. And they play a decently tough non-conference schedule. They got to go to Boise State. West Virginia. They play them. I mean, that's not anything crazy. But they play Florida at the end of the year. I think they got a tough road to hoe there. Clemson, Louisville, those games are not winnable.
Right. So we made it to the top 15. Just to recap, at number 28, Boston College, then followed by Vanderbilt, then NC State. Arkansas is at 25. Syracuse is at 24. Georgia Tech is at 23. Duke's at 22. Mississippi State's at 21. Mizzou is at 20. The Gamecocks from South Carolina are at 19. UVA is at 18, followed by Ole Piss at 17 and FSU at 16. Comrade, you have the 15th pick. Who do you got?
I know you love this coach, and you're going to be upset with this, but I'm taking the Demon Deacons. Wake Forest at 15.
That's a fair pick. I wouldn't have a problem with that. By the way, Cale was right about this. I think Cale was talking about this the other day. Correct me if I'm wrong there, Jackpot. But Dave Clawson should be backing the Brinks truck up from South Carolina to get him after you guys get rid of this shit show that is Will Muschamp.
Make no mistake about it. I've said that I wanted a young coach. I understand that a young guy, like the PJ Fleck type, the Mike Norvell type, the Lincoln Riley type. I mean, we don't necessarily have to have a young coach. Just someone who's new, who has a better football acumen. Someone who's Clawson, who's risen up through the ranks, right? So before Wake Forest, I think was it Bowling Green, right? Is that where he was from? I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I think so.
In that. So just a natural progression. Another guy, I saw another guy too that I wanted to give a shout out to later on. That's a good young coach. But let's go ahead forward.
Yeah, let us finish this, but we'll take calls before we're done tonight. We mentioned Dave Clawson, and I don't mean to be the guy that's going to be out there a little bit, but something we'll take calls on before we get out of here is, do you think that South Carolina may look to a person of color for coach? Think about that in a second there, chat room, and we'll take calls on that later on. With the climate that we're in right now, do you think South Carolina is not going to go and look for a white guy? They may go and look for a black guy. I know it's a tough conversation to have, but it may be something that's going to come up. So think about that, and we'll talk about that later. Mike picked Wake Forest.
We got a black girl coaching the basketball team. She's done a pretty good job.
She does a pretty damn good job. And you know what? I don't think she knows much about football, but I think she can motivate your damn football team better than Muschamp.
She can catch a fucking pass.
She can hit a damn ball too. for baseball. I wonder if Dawn Staley played softball in high school or whatever. I bet she could do that. At number 14, my pick for number 14, I am going to go with the Pitt Panthers at 14. So give me Pitt. They're going to be a middle-of-the-road team all year. They got 7-5 written all over them. T. Davis wants to know, what black coach would I choose? I may not choose a black coach. I may choose the guy that's the coach at Navy. I think he's a hell of a coach. It may not be a black coach.
Yep, I've talked about him for a long time.
Yep.
I've had a hard on for him for a while. So
of course you have.
Nothing wrong with that.
Shit all over the place. I've picked Pitt, and Comrade is at number 13. Now it's going to get interesting.
I thought it's Kale.
No, it's me.
I'm sorry, it's Kale.
Jesus.
It's Kale. My bad.
You've been drinking? Good Lord.
Yeah? What the fuck? Yeah. Yeah, I have.
Damn.
I'm in my own home, motherfucker. Drinking right now. Eat a
Bitch.
dick.
Bitch ass.
Fuck. Shut up. Let Kale pick.
At pick number 13, I would like to take Jerome Pruitt, Guantanamo Bay, and the Tennessee Vols.
Oh, interesting.
It's not bad. Yeah, it's really not that bad when you really think about it. So, interesting pick there from Kale.
There's another one I was itching to take, too. I hope you take this one next.
Comrade. Well, Comrade's got the next one. I think I'm gonna take a guess. Will you be honest if I get my guess correct here, Comrade? I'm gonna tell you who I'm gonna guess you're gonna pick.
Okay.
I think you're thinking the Miami Hurricanes.
You nailed it. Blowing in.
Oh, boom!
Bad down the hatches. I'm taking the Canes. Yes, that's my pick.
I'm shocked that Kale did not take Miami. Was that who you were thinking about, Kale? Was Miami?
I was flip flopping between them, Tennessee, and another SEC East team, but I don't know. I may should have taken Miami. I don't trust their. I think they'll be okay offensive. I don't
really know how
defense.
good their coaches. I mean, to think about it, we really don't know. We don't really know for sure how good their coach is.
No, we don't. Miami is just a team. It always seems like there's something. They always seem like they have some kind of issues, some locker room issues or coaching issues, or it's just always something that prevents them from being focused. So I don't know.
Miami. All right, number 11. I want to respond to Davis over here. T. Davis says, "I just asked that question, Rob, because you posed it. I really don't care who they choose. It's not a thing of me going back and forth with you, sir. It's just I just think that there's going to be a lot of teams that will want to hire someone of color when the next round of coaches come around. I think that's going to go a long way with some folks. So that's why I want to bring that up." Rob says, "Face it, Miami will curb stomp Clemson and Charlotte this year." Is that where they're playing the ACC tournament in basketball? We're not talking football on that, so that's not going to happen. Number 11 for me. I had to narrow it down to a couple here, but I'm going to go with Virginia Tech at number 11. I think that they're going to have some issues with good old Fuente. I don't think he wants to be there, in my opinion. But I got Virginia Tech at number 11. Kale, you would get we entered the top 10 now. So have at it, Kale.
I'm flip flopping here between this team and a team over in the ACC. I wouldn't put Virginia Tech that low, to be honest with you, but you do you.
So you'd have Virginia Tech higher. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going with Kentucky.
Damn you, Kale. I was going to take them. Okay, that's fine. Good
Kentucky, that's a solid pick there.
That's fine. That's actually better. They're actually worse. That's good.
Fuck off, Mike. Up next, Mike is at number 9. Number 9.
I got to he took my team, so I got to rethink this real quick. Hold on. All right. We've taken
You're right about that, Mr. Davis over there. We need to bring Mr. over here on the show.
I'm gonna go with the geriatric Mac Brown, the Tar Heels.
Oh, now he's getting stupid.
So
you think in your world that Louisville's going to be better than North Carolina? Or if you just
I do. I think I like Louisville better than North Carolina. You're damn right I do. You're damn right I do. You're damn right.
Louisville, I think you forgot about Louisville.
No, I did not. You're damn right. You're damn right. I'm thinking Louisville. I'm taking Louisville over UNC. You're damn right. You are damn right. Put it down right now. Louisville will finish ahead of North Carolina in the rankings and in the standings in the ACC. Put it down right now.
You should do like me and have your handy Athlon magazine here so you don't miss any teams.
Exactly.
Because hell, it's easy to do.
I'm telling you right now. I'm doubling down right now. Louisville is better than the Tar Heels. Better than them.
Get the fuck out of here. Those who are just joining, by the way, we are going to replace Comrade with Mr. Davis, who is over here just spitting out facts in the chat room. He would not have put North Carolina ahead of Louisville like this idiot Comrade. But we are ranking the teams 1 through 29 in a draft style format.
You'll see what happens.
Let me explain. Going from 9 down, just to recap. Mike takes North Carolina at number 9. Kentucky with Jackpot at 10. I had Virginia Tech at 11. Miami from Mike is at 12. Tennessee at 13 with Kale there. I picked Pitt at 14. Mike had Wake at 15. Kale had FSU at 16. I had Old Piss at 17. Mike had UVA at 18. Kale picked the Gamecocks at 19. I picked Mizzou at 20. Comrade had Mississippi State at 21. Duke was the pick at 22 for Kale. I had Georgia Tech at 23. Syracuse was the pick at 24 for the Comrade. Arkansas was 25 for Jackpot. I had NC State at 26. Comrade had Vanderbilt at 27. And the worst team in both conferences is at 28. And that went to Boston College from a Jackpot there. So I've got pick number 8, which would be the 8th best team out of all of these today. And with that, just to spite the fucking Comrade, I'm taking Texas A&M. There you go. We're going to move Louisville up a little bit higher. So I'm going with A&M at number 8. Kale, you have the pick for number 7.
Well, I hate to be the one to take a dump all over the circle jerk here, but I'm going to take the damn Louisville Cardinals with number 7. Well, I mean, I agree. Satterfield has done a hell of a job there, especially offensively. I think they're going to be really good. But I have question marks there with the defensive side of the ball for Louisville. Can they stop anybody with a pulse? Yeah. And they got to get to take that next step, because what he did last year was truly amazing. They were 2-10 in 2018, and they looked lost, disinterested, and really was just a case of don't give a fucks. And he transformed them into. I mean, I remember the first game of last season when I played at home against Notre Dame. I was like, holy shit! Like, where's this team been? Who are these guys? And they really looked good. And what he did. Nothing short of amazing, but on the defensive side of the ball, I think we need to see more. And they also got to get over to Kentucky. I mean, Kentucky just stomped a mud hole in their ass last year, and that's unexcusable in a rivalry game. Which, once again, I'm not giving a lot of shit, but taking nothing away from Kentucky here. But I mean, on paper, the two look to be pretty evenly matched. Maybe with a little bit of a lean towards Louisville. So the ass whooping left me scratching my head a bit.
That's true. That's not bad. I was just trying to move Louisville up higher so we can, because the Comrade wanted them higher.
You'll find out.
Number 1.
You're going to find out, bitches. Don't worry. You keep on talking shit. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry.
So that would bring you have pick number 6 there, Mike. Have at it.
I'm gonna go take the Gators from Florida as my 6th team. I'm not real sold in the Gators. Not real sold in the Gators. I think they're.
What don't you like about the Gators?
Well, the fact that the Gamecocks, I think, were better than they were the last 2 years, and the Gamecocks haven't been worth a damn the last 2 years. The fact that the Gamecocks controlled them the last 2 meetings, I just have a hard time of really putting my thinking a whole lot about them. I mean, I think Cal believes the same thing. We should have beat them the last 2 years. And so we have all kinds of problems. I'm not going to blow Muschamp's ass here, but we have not been what you call a stellar team the last 2 years, and we basically hung with them and knocked them around. And 2 years ago, just fell apart defensively with no depth. And last year, the Zebras decided to get involved. So I'm not real sold in the Gators yet, Dan Mullen. So I'll put him right there at 6, a good spot for him.
All right, so that moves us to number 5. And with the number 5 pick, I am going to go with the team that Comrade should have went with, who we've both said that we think there's going to be a problem there because our friend, the college wrestler, was so high on their offensive coordinator, but I don't think the 2 offensive minds are going to get along there. I think Auburn should have been – I should have picked Auburn instead of Texas A&M, to be honest. But I'm going to take Auburn number 5.
I thought about Auburn there. I thought about Auburn, but I want to make a point about taking Florida.
Why are you trying to make a point? Just say how the hell you feel.
I'm going to say – no, everyone's how I feel. I have Florida and Auburn kind of a toss-up, a coin flip. And so I said I'd rather make the coin flip here. The team, Florida. My whole point is that when we play Auburn, they don't have a hard time with us. Florida does. So that's all I'm saying.
All right. Cale, you will be the man that gets to pick at number 4. Who you got, Cale? This is hard. There's an easy answer here.
I'm gonna go with Georgia Bulldogs.
Good job, Cal Hall. I like the way you think.
Based off the fact that they only really have about 3 starters coming back on offense for that team. Lost some talent up front, which they recruited really well. But I just think I don't know. I think.
Man,
I don't think the coaching. I don't think the coaching is there. To be honest with you, I don't think that. I think Kirby Smart is a mediocre coach who had a 5-star roster. Am I making any sense?
Tons of stuff, man. They won tons of recruiting championships, but I like to.
He's nothing special. He's not bad. He's nothing special. He's not elite.
Let me ask you this. Do you think that with the talent that Kirby Smart has at Georgia, if you plugged in Dan Mullen, who in my opinion is a better X's and O's coach, I think they'd win at least 1 national title under Mullen.
I will say this, though. Dan Mullen, his offense against Kirby Smart's defense, Kirby Smart owns that ass. Look it up. Going back to their days of Mississippi State and Alabama, and going back to Florida when Mullen was the offensive coordinator of Florida. With
I'm talking
Tebow,
about
the whole thing.
Coach, though.
I know, but I'm just talking about X's and O's. When Mullen's calling plays and Kirby Smart's calling defensive plays, going back to all their assistant coaching jobs and Mullen's old head coaching jobs too at Mississippi State. Kirby Smart owns his ass. So he shuts down his offense. So that's all I'm going to say. Now that being said, though, I agree with Cal. I would have picked Georgia. I know the pick that you thought the easy pick's LSU, didn't you, Rob? Right? Correct?
No, but go ahead.
You wouldn't. Who would you take if you had Cal's pick? Who are you taking, Rob?
I would have taken Clemson at 4.
Oh, damn. Okay.
So once again,
you think LSU better than Clemson this year?
I think that LSU has the potential to be better than Clemson, but I think Clemson has the capability of an easier route to get the BCS.
I'm surprised because you've been
I'm saying if you'll let me finish without interrupting me there, jerk off.
I like interrupt you.
Played on a neutral field at the beginning of the season. The reason that I would have picked Clemson 4th is because I think that Clemson's going to have some issues on the offensive line front at the beginning of the season, and I still think LSU can get after the quarterback, and I don't think that Clemson's going to have the remedy for Justin Ross until late in the season.
Yeah.
So in my mind, when I'm doing these picks, I'm doing them from day one, neutral field. I would take LSU to win a close one over Clemson. That's why I would have Clemson.
Well, my only point is my only point is that early in the year, when we first started doing this, when we flipped the script to this year, you'd have kind of been down to LSU, and I kept on saying I thought that too many people had LSU burying LSU.
That's the thing. You don't listen to half the shit I say.
That's not true.
I think LSU has lost a ton of guys, and at the end of the season, I think that's going to hurt them. I think LSU will be the better team on September 7th. Clemson will be the better team on December 27th.
I don't know. They have no coaching. They don't develop their players very well.
Get the fuck out of here with all that.
That's fine. That's fine. Right.
Here. You got it 3.
I'm up next. Oh, I'm up?
Yeah, you're at 3.
3, I'm going to go ahead and take LSU. What?
Holy shit. I'm not even going to argue with that. I'm taking Clemson at 2, and that leaves Kale with the number 1 pick. And Kale, you don't have anywhere else to go but Alabama. Cal.
I was going to take
Cal.
you could change.
But I'm going to have Cal. You can change 1 pick. You can flip flop Bama and the Gamecocks. If you want to.
I could. Unfortunately, I'm not brain dead, so. I have Alabama. I mean that don't return a ton of starters, but I mean they do return a ton of talent. It's the most impressive.
So deep, man.
Is Najee Harris. I mean that guy's he's a freaking freak.
He is.
He really is.
And that Alabama offensive line is outstanding too.
I like the quarterback too. Yeah. I think the quarterback's pretty good.
But Mac Jones. So to recap,
we all have all these teams are have holes they got to fill. The only place that I think Alabama has the edge over Clemson at the wide receiver position now. Obviously by kind of a wide margin right now with Ross out. But at the quarterback position, I mean Clemson head and shoulders to me above whatever Alabama's got. But did you hear that part while I was talking on the video the other night when I was talking about Clemson, Rob, and the Trevor Lawrence and chances that win a Heisman Trophy? Do you agree with me that the loss of Justin Ross is going to hamper him?
In all honesty, I think even if they did have Justin Ross, I don't think that he'll have the opportunity to play to get a big enough numbers to get into the Heisman Trophy conversation, simply because in the way they divvy up the regions, the guy he's going to hand the ball off to is going to steal a lot of votes from him. So True. I think that the combination of that and the fact that, let's be honest, no one that Clemson plays in the regular season is, from what we see right now, I mean, your 2 toughest games are Notre Dame and Louisville. Then maybe Florida State.
Look out for Louisville.
Well, I'm just saying
I'm not buying into Florida State.
Well, but I'm just saying, as far as the 3 toughest games on the schedule, that's the 3 that I would go with. Notre Dame, Louisville, Florida State. You can interchange all of them, but I think we can all agree Notre Dame is number 1, and then it's kind of a sliding scale from there. But I don't think they're going to play enough.
for some weird reason, you've blown them out really the past couple of years. I mean, big time, and they've had decent teams that went to bowls. Actually, won bowl games. I think Wake Forest gives you a tough time this year. I think they get up off the mat, and I think that's a tough one for some reason. Still not sold on Florida State.
You might be right because it seems like every year Clemson has a problem with one team that you didn't think they were going to have a problem with. Last year it was North Carolina. Of course, the year they lost to Syracuse, then the year they lost to Pitt, Deshaun Watson threw for a record number of yards in that game, and Clemson still lost. So there's always a team that's going to kind of bug you on the schedule a little bit. To recap these real quick, and I'm going to hold on to this. We'll do a reevaluation at the end of the season, see where they are. I appreciate you gentlemen being unbiased on this. I thought the comrade was going to pick Clemson at 28. That's why I thought
about it.
So number one, the best team in the country, according to the RC&C poll.
Well, the best team of the two conferences now, which I guess is the best team in the country. Yeah.
The two.
Who are we kidding?
Alabama at number one. Jackpot made that pick. I had Clemson at 2. Comrade had LSU at 3. Jackpot picked Georgia at 4. Auburn is the pick at 5. Florida is at 6. Louisville's at 7. A&M is at 8. North Carolina is at 9. Kentucky is the 10th pick, followed by Virginia Tech, Miami, and Tennessee at 13. Pitt is at 14. Wake Forest is at 15. At 16 is Florida State. 17 is Ole Miss. 18 is the UVA. 19 is South Carolina. 20th goes to Mizzou. 21 goes to Mississippi State. 22 goes to Duke. 23 goes to Georgia Tech. Syracuse is in at number 24, followed by Arkansas at 25. Then NC State, Vanderbilt, and Boston College. Just a quick look at this from up here. According to our little polling system here, the ACC has 3 teams in the top 10. Clemson, Louisville, and UNC. The SEC has, of course, 7 of the top 10. That seems about right, I would think, if we're being unbiased. I don't know if the only one that I don't like the fact that Comrade was just jerking when he had Louisville.
I think Louisville won UNC. I think they are.
All right, Mike.
Let me just say too that it warms the cockles of my being to see NC State coming in at number 26. I cannot stand those guys for some reason, and I don't. It goes back to the 1980s when the Gamecocks used to play them every year. Fuck them. That's all I got to say. Fuck them. I hate them. I hated them ever since 1986 when the first year we went to Raleigh when Todd Ellis was a freshman, had them beat, and a little home cooking from the ACC refs there, and also the game clock on the scoreboard clock malfunction, so they had to keep time on the field for like most of the whole damn second half. They called some bullshit penalty on the Gamecocks on the last play of the game, which we sacked the damn quarterback, and then they got a free play with no time on the clock because you can't end the game on defensive penalty back in 1986, and throw a Hail Mary touchdown to his name was Naz Worthen. I think they called it a touchdown pass. So they beat us there, and then in 1989, Sparky Wood's first year as head coach of the Gamecocks, we were a damn one-loss team, and we played those fuckers in Columbia, and they went after Todd Ellis, and they hit him, took his knee out, ended his college career about 5 games too early. Never played another down again at football.
He's been a Hall of Fame in the NFL too. Instead, he's a Hall of Fame broadcaster and lawyer.
We lost the rest of our game. we lost that game 20-10, and we lost the rest of our games that season too with the backup quarterback Dickie DeMacy, who was from Irmo High School, except for one game against a UNC team with Matt Brown as coach the first time around. That has won one game that year, one fucking game, when we went on the road and we had to come from behind to beat them 27-20. Scored 2 defensive touchdowns, blocked 2 punts for safeties. It was a weird game. We had a big defensive lineman named Kevin Hendricks. He was who was actually Native American. They called him Chief. And Chief intercepted a pass and rumbled like 80 yards. I mean, when I say rumble, he'd rumble. Like 80 yards for a damn touchdown, and we won that game. You should have heard Bob Fulton on the call with that one. But I really went down a rabbit hole with that. So, anyway.
That's all right.
I hate NC State. Fuck them.
I mean, I put it on the banner. Fuck them. NC State. There you go. Clemson alum 98 says Jackpot is actually cool. He is honest in a lot of his videos, even when you can tell it's hurting. Yep. Appreciate that. We have opened up the phone lines if you would like to respond to what we've talked about tonight. I think I've worked out the phone issues. Feel free to call 803-470-2905, 803-470-2905. If you want to respond to our poll or the other question that I talked about earlier, do you think if the Gamecocks get rid of Will Muschamp, which for the betterment of football in South Carolina they should, do you think they will hire a person of color? There's our first call of the evening. Gentlemen, can you hear the call coming in? You should be.
I can hear it.
There you go. Look at that. Incoming call. Connecting. Good evening. Welcome to the show.
Hey, yeah, this is a Texas A&M fan.
What's up, brother?
Hey, I'm doing well. How are y'all doing this evening?
Very good.
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 Hey, listen, I got a couple things to run past you guys.
Sure.
Hey, listen, I know last week I was kind of breaking down a little bit on Alabama, but since I was born in Alabama, I'm able to do that. So just a quick brief synopsis about my past there.
Sure.
I grew up watching Bear Bryant on Sunday. Anyway, I've come up with the solution. I know we had a lot of talk about the conference alignment in the Southeast Conference, and so I went ahead and started thinking about that, and I figured out how we could kind of clear up the whole controversy.
What you got?
Well, you know, Rob, I know you're having a hard time with the Clemson schedule, this, that, and the other, so what we really need to do is we need to expand the SEC conference and have Clemson join the SEC East. Okay, then Clemson can say what they want to say. You can say what you want to say about Clemson, but if they're in the SEC, they're the real deal, okay? And then the Oklahoma Sooners, put them in the West to offset that because, you know, they go to the playoffs every year and they don't do shit. So put them in the West. So now, rather than have a playoff scenario, whoever wins the SEC championship, they're in the national championship game, and the other team will be either Ohio State or whoever the best team is out there. You can let the computers decide that. So it's the SEC championship. You got Oklahoma and Clemson in that conference, which if y'all look back over the playoffs here, we've only had 7 teams in the playoffs. Yeah. And only one team besides Clemson and the SEC teams ever won a playoff game. That was Oregon in the first playoff. They beat Florida State. So, I mean, you know, it's a national championship game. The SEC champion versus whoever. Probably Ohio State, because Ohio State's not going to lose the Big Ten for the next 5 years. That's pretty much a given. So, well, anyway, I just want to call and
I appreciate
that past you guys.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you calling the show. Here's my one thing with that. And the big thing with that is, and I think the comrade and Kale will agree with me on this too. All of that sounds like fun and games, but in reality, when you do something like that, you're not taking in all the other sports into the mix there. I mean, it makes sense on the football front, but what else? And let's just be honest. Clemson is a mediocre baseball team in the ACC, but on the basketball front, they don't really improve the SEC at all. I mean, and what does Oklahoma bring? You know what I'm saying? I mean, are we trying to build a superior above all conference and make it even across the board? If we're going to do that, we might as well just get rid of all the damn conferences altogether. I mean, but I don't think that a lot of that makes sense outside of the football realm. Would you agree there, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, it's like the whole super conference stuff. It's just not going to. I don't see that happening. Clemson's not going to get in here for the same reason why, Florida State won't come in here. Teams have votes on who can come in, and you don't want to kind of give up your advantage.
Right, and let's be honest. If I am South Carolina's athletic director, and I have we have a meeting, and the meeting is we want to bring Clemson into the SEC. If I'm South Carolina, I'm voting against it. Why would I do that and have them in the same conference that I'm in? That doesn't make any sense. I mean, that makes sense, right, Kale? Not to bring your arch rival in state into the same conference. I wouldn't do that.
No, I wouldn't.
There you go.
So I go Bobby Bowden said back in the early 90s when he talked about joining the ACC. I mean, he pretty much said it. He said, we want to win a championship. Said I needed to take the easiest path.
Right. You're absolutely right about that. So, and that comes back to, that's one of the reasons why South Carolina got into the SEC was because Florida State didn't want to go. They wanted Florida State first. If you remember the history book, they wanted Florida State first. But that Bobby Bowden's like, nope, we don't want to do that. So there you go. Another call coming in. Were you guys able to hear that call and all that? Was that good?
Yeah.
Good.
Right.
All right, here we go. Caller, welcome in to the Rob, Comrade, and Kale show. What's up?
Hey, guys. This Delta 900. Got some headlines that I thought you guys might be interested in, want to offer your opinion on.
Have at it.
Two of them, I think Kale will be interested in. Okay. My first one is the Ohio State Buckeyes are now, I think all of their players, according to ESPN, have now electronically signed basically what amounts to a risk waiver, or what they're calling a Buckeye pledge, concerning COVID-19, where the players are accepting the fact that they could be put at risk in contracting COVID-19, that they agree to follow the CDC guidelines with social distancing and all that other stuff, and being tested. The next headline, and these are the two that I think Kale would be interested in, would be Christian Hackenberg is heading back to baseball, and the Penn State quarterback Michael Johnson Jr. is now in the transfer portal, and I was wondering what Kale and the rest of you guys thought. And one other thing that I was interested to know, Rob, are you essentially saying that and I've actually thought about this, if there was for instance, a super conference where you took all the teams, all the top Power 5 teams, you put them into one conference, you're essentially saying that's, for various reasons, an impossibility.
All right. Hey, man, I appreciate your call. Thanks for chatting with us this evening. All right. Well, let me answer that. Let me answer his question about that really quick. I think if you do have that huge of a conference, the problem is that who do you leave out? You know what I'm saying? And do you build this conference based on just football? Because if you're doing it just football and you're going to have, let's just throw a round number out there of, say, 40 teams, okay, then are we not thinking about basketball at all? Are we not thinking about women's sports at all? And I know that some people are like, girls sports or whatever, but to me, that's important. I mean, I'm thinking of if we're going to have a super conference, it should be the best athletic programs overall. and you can add into it teams that bring in the most money. I get that too, but I just think it would be really hard, and I think that you would end up leaving some people out. Just in my opinion, that's just it's just hard. Kale, what did you think about what he said about the COVID thing, my friend?
So there's basically they're having them sign a waiver.
Yeah,
Kinda
basically.
like a permission
If I get
like
the
a
COVID,
permission
it's
slip,
on me.
like a permission slip from your parents to go on a field trip to the damn Discovery place or whatever.
By the way, we should get permission to do this show.
It's pretty simplistic, but you know what I mean? I'm all for it.
Comrade, what do you think?
The issue you're going to have is that this is not like a pro sports league where you can just have a set of rules for all teams. Every school is going to be different. And this season is going to be real interesting because you're going to have all kinds of factors to play in there. More than likely you're going to have a team that has a case of COVID that goes through the team, and suddenly they may kind of suspend their season. And now all of a sudden, what do you do if they're on your schedule? Do you not play that game? Because it's not like they're not under one umbrella. Every school is a little bit different, and they'll make decisions based on their own school, and even within the conference and things like that. So I think you're going to see all kinds of stuff. Ohio State's got the waivers. Other teams may follow, other schools may not. So I think you're going to see it's going to be an interesting year this year. Hopefully it doesn't get out of hand. Hopefully they get to play. It doesn't become horrible. But you're going to have some – it's not even a normal football season in terms of what happens. You're going to have some teams that don't play the full 12 games. And you're going to have all kinds of arguments if, say, one of the playoff contenders, say, didn't play 2 games this year because 2 games on their schedule decided to, suspend their season because they had too much of a COVID outbreak. So you're going to have all kinds of interesting things happen, I think.
If I'm a player, and I'm just throwing this out there, if I'm a player and I'm looking at it from this perspective that I'm going to be in a heightened environment where I can catch COVID-19, if you're someone that is afraid that you're going to catch that virus, even though, let's be honest, according to a lot of numbers, if you are somebody that is a highly tuned athlete, the chances of you getting it are really, 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 really slim. Okay? So let me put that out there first. But if you can make the argument that maybe you're playing with your life a little bit there, I don't know, man. That's going to be tough. Let's take this.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Mike. Go. Connor,
I was going to say, though, speaking of me, okay, when I was that age, you view yourself as bulletproof. You really view yourself as invincible. And you're not thinking of those things. You're not thinking just with football in general. I mean, I think back now, like personally,
competitive with you on this, Mike, but if I'm Trevor Lawrence and I've already lost my number one wide receiver, I think he's going to play for Clemson, but it would definitely be in my head just a little bit. Wait a minute. I've got the chance to make millions in the NFL.
Well, I'm
going to play without my best wide receiver, and I'm going to have to play in a COVID season too. I'd severely think about it just a little bit.
I mean, that's different, that whole thing too, but I'm talking in general. I mean, listen, right. I really don't want my kids to play football just for the injury aspect, and I feel like a hypocrite because if I went back in time, given what I know now, I would still play. I was like, no, it was great, but I just don't want to feel like seeing my kids get hit and deal with the injuries and deal with the issues you have later on. So you just think differently when it's you, I think, sometimes in terms of what will happen. So,
caller, are you there? Welcome into the show.
Hello.
Hello.
I was just going to ask about, South Carolina, y'all were talking about if they fire Will Muschamp, do they hire a man of color?
Yes.
Somebody from, like Nevada, Jay Norvell, you think that would be a good hire? I mean, he had some good talent.
Let me make sure that I put this out there. I I think that I'm not saying they should hire that person simply because of color, but if they bring in two coaches and according to their committee of folks that that interview, that do the interview and stuff like that, their evaluation committee, if Coach A is this guy and he matches up with Coach B and they all have the intangibles and everything else, but I think that something that they would think about is, Coach B is a person of color. Maybe that would help on the front of just perception right now. And that was my thinking with that. I don't know enough about the coach you're talking about, but I'm not saying they should put your qualified coach in there. There are plenty of minority coaches that are outstanding. I don't understand, and Cale was talking about this earlier, the coach at Navy should be coaching somewhere else. I think he just likes the Naval Academy, in my opinion. I'm not saying he should be the next guy at South Carolina. I don't know if that kind of offense would work there. But when I watch the Navy teams, they're always well coached. They always seem to play pretty good defense, and they don't embarrass themselves when they're out on the field, period. So, I don't understand why he's still there. But it's not an issue of, hey, they just need to go find a coach of color. I'm just saying that if it comes down to one or the other, I think that South Carolina may be like, you know what, we'll go this route. That's what that was my thinking in that.
Yeah, we're speaking of talking about African American coaches. One that was really had his name way up there a couple seasons ago, and then after last season, they kind of took a little bit of the sweet stuff off his candy apple because of the season they had, was Dino Babers. I still think that he's a really good coach. I just think that where he's at, I just think it's a tough place to recruit to. I don't know, and Mike knows the area really well, but I think the high school talent there, I don't know how much of it there is. And then, I mean, you got to go south or west, I guess, to find, elite level talent to come to Syracuse. And I mean, how do you sell them on going there? That's his challenge, I think.
Well, but that's the thing too. And Mr. Davis, I'm calling him Mr. Davis. He's T. Davis.
Tarian Davis, good guy.
Tarian Davis, that's fine. Comrade, you've unplugged your mic, is what the software is telling me.
Tarian Davis, not Tar Heel Davis.
I thought you said Tar Heel Davis.
No, it's Tarian. He's a Clemson fan. He's not a damn.
There you go. That's great.
He's not
I've gotten to interview Dino Babers twice, and both times talking with him, you just get the impression that he's a leader of men. I mean, he is just solid. And he walks into a room and he lights a room up when he walks in. It's very, I think he'd be a great coach anywhere. Caller, did you have anything else? Or are you good?
Oh, no, I'm good. Thank you.
All right, caller. Thanks for calling in. We're
the thing with Syracuse, though, I understand something. Up there, college is secondary. It's really about the pro sports. I mean, if you live in upstate New York, you're more worried about the Giants, the Jets, the Bills. And so that's the first thing. The second thing is the Carrier Dome is great for basketball recruiting. You bring a recruit in there for a basketball game, and you can get a recruit. You bring them in for a football game, and it's a real kind of – the atmosphere is not great. I mean, I know it was great for that game when they beat the Clemson Tigers a couple of years ago, but it's not really – and Clemson fans have gone up there and complained about there's no tailgating, and it's just not what you call a college football town. And it's hard to recruit a kid from, wherever, from Florida to come up there. Now, back in the 80s when they were really good, they got a bunch of kids from Florida for some reason. I don't know how. And they didn't have great recruiting rankings, but they did a good job of finding kids that fit their system. They picked up guys like Don McPherson and Rob Moore and Dwight Freeney. They just kind of found guys that were kind of under the radar from other colleges.
Where was Donovan McNabb from?
McNabb is from – that's a good question. I think he's from. I want to say the Pennsylvania area. I thought he's from Pennsylvania area. I have to go and look that up. But McNabb was kind of underrated a little bit though too. I mean, he wasn't quite. He wasn't like a big. They don't. My dad showed this. My dad's a big Syracuse. He's a Syracuse alum. Okay, when Syracuse was winning in the '80s and in the '90s, their recruiting rankings were never like top 10 or even top 20. Okay, and of course back then I think the recruiting rankings were a little bit more of a crapshoot, I think, but they got a lot of talent, but it wasn't really what you call talent out of high school. But McNabb's a good example. I'm trying to think where he was. I think he's one of those kids that was recruited by big time schools for other positions like playing defensive back, playing receiver, and all that stuff. I don't think he was kind of in that realm of being someone's quarterback. And Syracuse back then was a school where they looked for quarterbacks that could run and throw, and that was kind of their big thing. So I'm trying to think what McNabb. McNabb's from Chicago. That's right. He's from Chicago.
Well, there you go. Thank you, Jesse.
Well, you talk about being people from up north in that area and being all about the pro sports. And in July every year when we go on vacation, we go. We're talking about to the Poconos and go to hanging out there in East Stroudsburg and that area. And wouldn't you know? Can y'all guess what is the closest Power 5 school to that area? Can you tell me that?
I think it's East Stroudsburg. I think it's Syracuse.
No.
Is it Rutgers?
Yes, there you go. It's Rutgers. And when I we went out to get some pizza and beer and stuff while we were there, and I was trying to talk to these guys right there about football last year, and about Penn State and what's up with that. And Penn State, I think from there is at least probably about 2 hours away, because this is on the far eastern side of the state. Penn State's kind of in the middle. They didn't want to talk about that, and they didn't act very knowledgeable at all about the subject. But goddamn, they could tell you all about the birds, which is the fucking Eagles, and the damn Baltimore Ravens. I'm like, I don't give a shit about any of that. I'm like, my college football talk just went over like a fart in church. Here, I mean, this crew's totally different. But yeah, Rutgers is the closest Power 5 team there. Now, everybody thinks they're going to be a shit show. I think they may surprise a few people this year. I think Greg Schiano might rekindle a little bit of that magic. He ain't gonna have no winning season or anything like that, but I could see him winning 4 or 5 games.
4 wins, Cale. Got him at 4 wins. Anyway, when I think Syracuse and Clemson, we got some Clemson fans watching tonight. When I think Syracuse and Clemson, I think about Donovan McNabb. I think the 1996 Gator Bowl, McNabb threw for 309 yards.
It was tremendous.
In a fucking rainstorm.
My dad was there.
Marvin Harris
was there.
He was?
Yep.
What the hell was he doing there?
He goes to Syracuse games. He's a Syracuse alum. He used to travel Syracuse bowl games.
He went to Jacksonville?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
My dad was actually at that time. He was in. He was shopping for a place to retire. Okay, he was close to retiring, and so he would travel to bowl games. He thought about going into Florida and the Jacksonville area. He ended up going to Arizona. He's retired in Arizona now, but that was back when he had about 5 years left before he retired, and so he would go and make trips to places to see if he could wanted to live there.
Well,
I remember that was the after the '95 season. And we went in. I was at that one. I was at that Carolina Clemson game, and that was was that Tannehill? That was his senior season. So that was his last game as a Gamecock, and it was kind of back and forth. And I remember going in. We went into the damn fourth quarter, and the fucking thing was tied at 17. And we came out in the fourth quarter and played like the biggest bunch of bitches I've ever seen in my damn life. Ended up losing 38-17.
Wait till
And
this
I remember
year.
Emery Smith, was that his name?
Yeah.
Old fullback, and carrying what was this, Terry Cousin that played for the Panthers.
Yeah.
He drugged him down the field about 12 or 13 yards. You go back and put it in your Google machine. You can find it on YouTube. That was just embarrassing and sad.
Kale just flashes back to bad Gamecock memories. Poor Kale.
It was pathetic.
Being that I'm a giver and I want our everybody on our show to be happy. Before we leave this planet, I want the Gamecocks to win a championship of some sort in football, just for Kale and just for the video that will come out when the Gamecocks, let's say the Gamecocks win the SEC one year. Kale may run through the streets at buck-ass naked. Get ready for that on the Carolina Jackpot channel. One final note from what's that? I said,
what's that?
I said, if the Gamecocks win I want the Gamecocks to win a championship one year, just for you, Kale, and for the video that'll come out. Your ass may run down the street naked. I mean, seriously, if they win the SEC,
I might pull the damn Fred Sanford and have a heart attack. But unlike Fred, I won't have a fake heart attack. I'll probably have a fucking real one. Did you ever see the video when we made it to the Final Four? And I went outside and I grabbed my flag off the front of the house. And I went running around up and down the damn street in my flip flops, and I came back and I had on a damn pair of athletic shorts, and I fell down. I don't think you saw butt crack. You were about half a second away from seeing butt crack.
To quote Grandma Wyatt, did y'all see that video where Kale's ass was hanging out? She texted me that. Did you see that video with Kale's ass hanging out? And I was like, no, Kale showing his ass on TV. Yeah, go look at it. And I'm like, oh.
And Rob got there recording it.
Oh, that's crazy.
It was terrible. I need some time in the tanning bed. I mean, it's just pale, fishy white. I look like a bed sheet.
I look like I don't have any blood in my body. I'm that damn pale. By the way, in that game, McNabb threw for 309 yards, going back to it because this is ADD radio, by the way. Marvin Harrison, in his final game at Syracuse, 7 catches for 173 yards and 2 touchdowns. That motherfucker shredded Clemson. Absolutely shredded Clemson that game. Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit.
There's a quarterback before McNabb got there that no one remembers. I left from Syracuse named Marvin Graves. Okay, who was a great college quarterback. Like he was one of my favorite quarterbacks to watch. But Syracuse would get those guys. They started with a guy named Don McPherson back in their coach was Dick McPherson, a white guy, and then they got a guy named Don McPherson who should have won the Heisman Trophy in '87. He got screwed by Tim Brown. And the problem was that Don McPherson wasn't on the radar beginning of the season. Had a great year. Syracuse had a great team. Auburn tied them, Pat Tie, they called them in Syracuse, in the Sugar Bowl. And that Syracuse team was really good. And McPherson went on the NFL. He was a backup quarterback for a long time. Never really got a shot. I think if Don McPherson came around today, I think he plays the NFL as a starting quarterback. I think back then they didn't know quite what to do with him in the NFL. But he was the first guy, and then Marvin Graves, then McNabb. And McNabb was the best of the three, but those are the guys in there. Now, Michael Vick almost came here. Michael Vick, McNabb was recruiting him, and Michael Vick was going to come here at the last second. He changed his mind. So, come to Syracuse. So, Vick was a big thing going there.
There are 3 quarterbacks as a Clemson fan that I don't want to hear shit about, all right? One of them is, of course, Donovan McNabb. Michael Vick also tore up some Clemson ass. And the third one that a lot of people seem to forget is motherfucking Cliff Kingsbury. I can't stand that.
Oh, goddamn.
He beat the shit out of us with Texas Tech. We're watching the game, right? And I'm calling the plays. He's going to throw slant left, slant right. What are we doing? It was depressing. Those 3 quarterbacks.
What about Matt Ryan? I remember Matt Ryan just rolling right and throwing a back across the field in the corner of the end zone to beat you guys
we
too.
made up for that. I can't remember our linebacker that knocked Matt
Who would
Ryan.
have been? I know who would have been the quarterback at Florida State back in '94 when they beat you like 54-0.
Chris Winky. Chris Winky.
No, he was later. He was after that.
Oh.
Was that
Charlie
Danny
Ward?
Cannell?
Charlie Ward kicked our ass too. Let's make sure that's out there.
I think that was Danny Cannell.
Danny Cannell.
You remember the African American quarterback at Virginia named Sean Moore?
Yeah, I remember him.
You remember that? That was the one who beat Clemson for the first time. When you guys led them in the series like 27-0 or something.
Yeah.
And I got the first victory. You remember that 1990 season? They were ranked number 1 at one point in time. And I went back. It popped up on my YouTube the other Sunday, and I watched some of it when they played in the Sugar Bowl that year against Tennessee. I thought that was interesting. You know, two teams that are all predominantly orange, but it was Sean Moore and his wide receiver was Herman Moore, and then they had a guy named Matt Blunden, who was the running back. He was a white guy who was on the basketball team too. So, yeah.
By the way, shout out to the folks over here. Connor Shaw, you know, I have no problem admitting Connor Shaw was a guy that but in fairness, and I'm not taking anything away from him, the guy never lost to Clemson, but I mean, I think we all can agree on this. He never really. Do you remember a game where he put up like huge numbers? I don't think he ever had a game against Clemson where he lit them up like a Christmas tree.
He kills him at the ground. Yeah,
that was the thing too.
2011, he hit you up pretty good that year. 2013, I mean, we can thank that win to Sammy Watkins and Adam Humphries. Thank you guys. I'd like to see you back on the team again one day soon.
But what Connor Shaw would do, what he would do to you guys is 3rd and 6, he'd drop back and then find a little seam and take off, get a first down, like keep drives alive. So he would do that to you nonstop.
During the show, but fuck him. 3rd and 6, and then all of a sudden he would just sprint ahead. He needed 6 yards, he'd get 7, and then he'd take a big shot. A big ass shot, then get up and he wouldn't even look at the Clemson player. He's just looking.
What I would do to have the damn
that guy, man.
He used to have too.
Yeah, he was tough as fuck. You guys need more guys like that on your team now. He had some balls, man. He just had balls. I don't think you guys have had a quarterback really. I mean, he's my favorite Gamecock quarterback to watch. I liked him a lot, and I liked Phil Petty too. I thought Phil Petty was great, just game manager, could do things, but Connor Shaw could really fucking hurt you, and he could throw the ball with touch down the field when Spurrier would let him cut loose. I mean, he had a good arm, but damn, he killed people with his feet. But fuck that guy, man. God, I was glad to see his ass graduate. Holy shit.
I like Steven Garcia.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm asking you what you like about him. I mean,
I don't know if you just looked at him from his body style. I mean, he didn't look like a damn quarterback to me. I mean, he was a little bit chunky. I mean, but goddamn, man. I mean, he just brought a certain energy with him. Into a damn game, and I just liked him.
He also brought cocaine and horse to the Peach Bowl. Let's not forget that. You know I'm right, Kale. He got caught with that. Right. He brought the cocaine and the horse, and damn near got Marcus Lattimore killed.
Well, if he's going to Atlanta, he didn't have to bring horse. I'm sure he could find plenty of them around there.
Steven Garcia.
Marcus Lattimore did. He got his clock cleaned in that one.
Well, the reason he got his ass kicked in that game is because of fucking Garcia, if we're going to be honest. Just saying. Anyway, We have had a great show, gentlemen. We didn't fight tonight. That's a good thing. We're going to have we'll keep our list here and see how this goes throughout the season as we move along closer and closer to the magical football season. Of course, we'll be back at it on Wednesday night. We will be taking your calls on Wednesday just like tonight because, ladies and gentlemen, I finally figured out the phones. We sounded absolutely professional tonight, damn it. Look at that mess. I'm all about it. I got the engineering portion of it down, so pretty proud of that. Comrade Kale, do you have anything else to add to the show?
That's it. I'm good. We're out.
Nothing.
Kale,
Still waiting on that Eric Salt jackass from the YouTube comment section from a few videos ago to call in to the show.
Right.
I'd like to see you do that Wednesday night.
Well, and by the way, if you're too chicken shit to go one-on-one with us here, with the three of us here,
and go one-on-one
with the great one, you can obviously leave a voicemail. If you call 803-470-2905, you can leave a voicemail. We will play it. We will not.
It's weird. Ever since he left that voicemail, I haven't seen NASCAR Vol around.
Yeah, where the hell's NASCAR Vol at?
I know, right? What's happening?
You know what he's doing?
Did Peyton Manning get a hold of him?
He's over there adjusting that tea bag from Peyton Manning, watching a damn.
He's got to work tomorrow.
Tennessee fans.
Show starts at 4 a.m.
Bless their little hearts. Bless their sweet little hearts. I love Tennessee fans. They're so great. They're just
somebody told me. One of the Tennessee fans commented on my last video about the when I was doing the Clemson rundown for the season.
Right.
He said Jackpot said you sound exactly like Philip Fulmer. I don't know if that's a compliment or a knock, but thank you.
Thank you for the compliment, or Mikhail. With that, gentlemen, the show is a wrap. Oh my